Hello dear students, we have already completed chapter number 7 of unit 2, structural organization in animals, where first we studied about the morphology and anatomy of cockroach, and then we studied the animal tissues, that is histology part of those tissues. Now let us take up another chapter of the same unit, that is chapter number 5. It is botany chapter. Well, when we say botany, students are more reluctant because they have an idea, misconception perhaps, that zoology is quite easy and botany is tough and confusing. But I'm sure after studying these chapters, after going into the meaning of the terms and relating them with examples and different plants around you, botany will become very easy for you. So, let us take up this chapter, chapter number 5, Morphology of Flowering Plants. Well, when we study morphology, we must have a plant. This is one flowering plant from my garden. So, you can see, in this plant, all the parts are there. What we are going to study? We will be studying about the root, stem, leaf, inflorescence, flower, fruit and seeds. We will be studying various morphological variations with respect to all these morphological organs. Okay. Then we will be studying about semi-technical description of a typical flowering plant. How do we describe it? What terms we use? What formulae we use? What floral diagrams we use? We will be studying about that. And then we will be describing some very important families which are around us. And we will be studying those families in terms of the semi-technical description. So let's begin. First, I want to show you about this plant. See, in this plant, this is the root part. Then there is a stem. There are branches. Then flowers. Do you know which flower is it? This is called cosmos flower. Then it has got fruit also. These are the fruits of cosmos. This is a fruit. The flower has converted into a fruit, and it also has got seeds. Inside these fruit we have got these structures. These are seeds. So let's study these morphological features one by one. So let us now study the morphology of root. These are few properties of roots. First is they arise from the radical part of the embryo. A growing seed is an embryo. This is a growing seed. The root will arise from the lower part, that is the radical part. And this will grow downwards. So it arises from the radical part. There are some exceptions also. When we will study about the types of roots, then we will come to that. Next property is they are positively geotropic. This means they will move towards the gravitational force. So they will move downwards under the ground. Next is they are positively hydrotropic. Roots keep on seeking for the direction of water. They will go towards the direction of the water. So they are positively hydrotropic. They are negatively phototropic. They move away from the light. Then next, the branching in roots is generally endogenous. Endogenous means it will move towards the center of the axis in the plant. So it will move towards the center of the axis. Whereas in stems it is exogenous. Okay. Then these roots, they lack nodes and internodes. They are not present. Nodes and internodes are not present in roots. They lack leaves. No type of leaves are present in root. Neither foliage, not scaly, nothing. No leaves are present. Then they also lack buds. There are no buds present in the root. And what are the functions of roots? The main functions of the roots are storing the food, anchoring the plant. These are the two main functions of root. But plants have developed in such a way that they have modified their roots for performing some additional functions also. So we will study about them also in detail. Now let us first see the morphological regions in a root. If you see a root, for example, this root again, there are certain regions. What are they? The first one, you can see there are basically three regions in a root. Meristematic region, region of elongation, and region of maturation. So, in the meristematic region, there is a cap which is called as root cap. And then there are apical meristems. Then there is a small zone which is called as region of elongation, where there are no lateral root hair. You can see this is the region of elongation. Okay? And then there is a region of maturation where the root hairs are present. So these are the three. One is, this is meristematic, this is elongation, and this is the maturation region. Okay? So these are the three regions of the root. Let us now study about the types of roots. So we can categorize the roots basically into two main groups. One is taproot system, which is generally shown by dicots, and fibrous root system, generally shown by monocots. What is the difference between them? See, both taproot system and fibrous root system, they arise from radical part of the embryo. But here in taproot system, you can see there is one main root which is called as primary root. And then lateral roots arise which may be secondary root, tertiary root, quaternary roots, like this. But there will be one main primary root. Whereas in case of the fibrous root system, the primary root is very short-lived. After that it dries up. Whereas all other lateral roots, they are almost of the same diameter and they are called as lateral roots, and they are fibrous in nature. That's why we call them fibrous root system. So I will show you the difference. See, this is a dicot plant. This is a dicot plant. It has got one. This is a primary root. This is a secondary root. And there are tertiary roots. Can you see? So this is a tap root system. Generally in dicot plants. Dicot plants have got the tap root system. Whereas a monocot plant, this is a monocot plant. It has got all fibrous roots. You can see the main root, the primary root will dry up here, and all other roots which arise from the base of the radical, they are fibrous. Fibrous. They generally arise from the base of the root axis. So they are all fibrous. So this is a fibrous root system. Okay. Then there is one other category which is called as adventitious roots. These adventitious roots, they do not arise from the radical part. In fact, they arise from any other part other than radical. That's why they are called as adventitious roots. Generally, you can see this is a plant. This is its stem. From the stem, this root has developed. This is an adventitious roots. So these adventitious roots, they do not arise from the radical part. So they are arising from any other part from the embryo other than radical. So they are called as adventitious roots. Generally, like money plant, you must have seen here. From the stem, they get a new outgrowth which develops into an adventitious root. So these are the three main types of roots. Adventitious roots can be in both dicot as well as monocot. But tap root system is generally shown by dicot plants and fibrous root system is generally shown by monocot plants. Now after studying the types of roots, let's study various modifications shown by the roots. After studying the types of roots, let's now study the root modifications. Before studying the root modifications, we should know what are the general functions of a root. As I told you, roots are basically meant for holding the plant, absorbing the water and nutrients from the soil, and also synthesizing many plant hormones. But apart from that, plants have modified their roots in a different way, which may be for storing lots of food, helping in propagation, vegetative propagation, supporting breathing, and even sucking the food from the host plant. So let's see. So I have grouped these all root modification into 4 types: fleshy roots, supporting roots, pneumatic roots, and hostorial roots. Fleshy roots, first category. These roots have a lot of food stored in them. When a plant dies, basically a herbaceous plant, when it dies, before dying, it stores most of the food in its roots, and these roots become fleshy. And these fleshy roots can survive the harsh conditions. And when the conditions are favorable, they again help in vegetative propagation and help the plant to start a new life. So all these fleshy roots, they are storing the food and also helping in vegetative propagations. They can again be of different types. Let us see few common examples. Like you must have seen beetroot or turnip. Here the fleshy root is called as napiform. It's very swollen structure. So that modification is called as napiform modification. Next, radish. The modification is called fusiform. Here it is very fleshy but elliptical. Next is conical, as in case of carrot. It is little different from fusiform. Here the base is broad and then it tapers down. So it's like a cone. So it is called conical. Then there are few roots which are fleshy but they do not have a particular shape. Like in sweet potato. These are tuberous tap roots without any proper shape. So they are called tuberous tap roots. They are also fleshy. Sometimes the fibrous roots can also become fleshy. For example, asparagus. I will show you the asparagus from my garden. This is an asparagus plant. And you can see its swollen roots. This is one swollen root, another swollen root. These are fibrous, but they have swollen to store the food. See, the plant had died. Now the monsoon is approaching. So the plant is developing the green leaves. So this is helping the plant to propagate when the conditions are favorable. Okay, so this is also a fleshy root. This is asparagus. So this is the first category of root modification. Now let's move to supporting roots. These roots help the plant to hold themselves. Like first type is prop roots. You must have seen the monkeys just swinging in the trees. So these trees, very large trees like banyan trees, peepal trees, they have got hanging roots. These hanging roots are called as prop roots. So in a way, they are helping the plant to balance, to be stabilized. Okay. Then next is stilt roots. Generally those plants which are very long with less branching, when there is a strong wind, they might fall down. So to support them, there are some additional roots. These additional roots which are present on the first node, they are going downwards and they hold the plant just like an anchor. For example, in case of maize, then sugarcane, bamboo, these are stilt roots. So supporting roots may be prop roots or stilt roots. Next, these are very different types of roots which are called as pneumatic roots or the breathing roots. Generally roots are positively geotropic, but these roots are negatively geotropic because what they do, they grow downwards and then they come upwards. Why do they do this? Because these plants are growing in mangrove areas where the water is in a marshy area and the plants cannot breathe. So what they do? They just grow upwards. And there are certain pores on the tips of the roots which are called as pneumatophores. And that's why we call them as breathing roots. For example, rhizophora. They are a characteristic feature of mangrove vegetation. Okay. So rhizophora is an example of pneumatic roots. These are exceptional roots because they are negatively geotropic. Then next roots are hostorial roots. Generally the parasitic plants, they do not prepare their own food, but they want the food. So what do? They develop hostorial roots. They enter the host plant and reach the conducting tissues, that is phloem. And just like a syringe, they take up the food from there. So they are called as hostorial roots. So today we have studied the roots in detail. So now you must have understood how important are the roots and how amazingly plants have developed their roots so that they can help them in a better way. Thank you.